Time is running out, and I don't mean in some dramatic end of the world way, I mean structurally. We're headed into a reset window between now and 2030 that will permanently separate families who planned from families who didn't. The truth is that most people don't fail because they didn't work hard enough. They fail because they never built the right system. In this video, I'm gonna walk you through the 6 laws of generational wealth. This isn't theory, this isn't about hype, this is the actual blueprint that families use to build wealth that survives them and survives what's coming next. So let's go. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right in. We're gonna talk about building generational wealth. Now, generational wealth real quickly is like so much money you never have to worry about running out in your lifetime, but you're setting up your kids, your grandkids, and if you don't have kids, then your heirs or your charities or whatever. But I'm talking about so much money. And before we get into this, I just want to say that currently what mainstream financial advisors are helping you do is hopefully you've saved up enough money, you have enough in your stock portfolio, and then when you retire, you can sell down 4% per year, and then hope you cross your fingers that you don't run out of money before you die. But then you die with zero. And then your heirs are starting from zero. So what if you could just have so much money you never have to worry about running out, and your heirs are starting from a much higher place? That's what we're talking about. And before I get into, Bitcoin and crypto and AI and all of that stuff, first you have to understand it's about a perspective, okay? It's all about the perspective that we're approaching this under. And so I want to set our frame right. And so I want to say something that's a little bit controversial in today's day and age. A lot of people are probably already turned this video off. You've stuck around, but already turned this off because they're like, I'm not leaving my kids anything. Why would I leave my kids anything? That money's going to ruin my kids. Look at all these trust fund babies and how bad they are and blah, 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 blah. All right, let's break this down. First of all, money is just a tool, and the tool can be used for good and bad. So money without values, that is a disaster, okay? So if you raise your kids or you have heirs you give money to and they don't have good values, then all that money is gonna do is magnify, it's gonna amplify. So they're gonna be bad kids with more money, which means they can be more bad. I have money and then I add my values, the values that help me see the world this way, the values that help me build the wealth this way. If I can pass those values on to my kids, down to my heirs, and then I give money to them, all right, now we have legacy, all right? I think I have an understanding of the world in a certain way. There's certain things that I think we should be doing. I often talk about the only reason I even care about money is to give my family more options, and so I can help more people. And so if my goal is to help more people and fund more churches and help more orphans, then there's no limit to the amount of money that I should have, because there's no limit to the amount of people I can go help. And if we can pass that money down to kids that have those same values, that's a great benefit for the world. But if we don't teach that, then all we have is spoiled brats. In the Bible, it says that a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Generational. Not because money spoils them, but because wisdom prepares them. Let's get into this. I'm going to break down 6 laws right now. 6 laws of generational wealth. First, think beyond yourself. Generational. Second, pick the right 50-year engine. We'll talk about that. 3, concentrate over compounding. Important. Number 4, build the fortress. What does that even mean? Number 5, install the family OS, the family operating system. And then number 6, we want to kill the assassins. I don't mean literally, we're not really going to kill people. We're going to kill the assassins that could steal this. And your kids and their kids will be generational wealthy. That means your kids, your grandkids will never have to start off of zero again if we do this properly. Let's jump in. So law number 1 is think beyond yourself. So this means stop thinking about myself and, like I said, modern portfolio theory, which is hopefully I have enough money so I die right around when it dies with zero. I think there's a book written, Die with Zero. What a terrible way to think about the world. Let's push value into the world. The way that I like to think about it is sort of like, I like Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's like a blockchain. Every 10 minutes, another block gets added, and then another block gets added, and another block gets added every 10 minutes, and the transactions go in there. And this is on the Bitcoin blockchain, we call this proof of work. So all the computers worked to work on this block and put all the transactions in here and then settle that block. And then we go 10 minutes later, we have another block and all the transactions go in there. And these computers actually had to do real work. They had to use real electricity, real energy. And so we call this proof of work. But this is also like your life. In your lifetime, you've done a lot of work. You spent a lot of time learning things, working on things. You spent a lot of energy and time. And what you've been able to accumulate here is your proof of work. And you can pass that down to have another block. And think about this. Your kids, your heirs are the next block, and then their kids, their heirs are the next block, and we can pass this down. So why wouldn't we want the world to be better than we left it and pass that on? So then the plan is that you have your values that you pass down to your kids, and then those kids have those values that they pass down to your grandkids. One block at a time, building your proof of work. And if you've trained them properly and they train their grandkids properly, they're all pushing value back into the world. So you don't have to have a 100-year dynasty plan here. Right now, all you need to think about is maybe one generation or 2 generations beyond that. Let's jump into law number 2, which is concentrate over compound. Now, what this means is that rather than diversification, so you hear a lot of, again, traditional financial advice, the Ray Dalios of the world, and talk about the all-weather portfolio, and you need to invest into 12 or 14 different asset categories and diversify for risk. Really, wealth comes from concentration. You concentrate into the right area, and then you allow it to compound over time. So this is one of the greatest generational cycles that you can imagine, and it's one that we're living in right now. Now, if we want to look at this, some of the greatest names in history, the names that you know of generational wealth, like Rockefeller, for example, Vanderbilt, Carnegie, J.P. Morgan, Henry Ford, Jeff Bezos, you know those names. They're generational wealthy. The Rockefellers have been able to pass their wealth down for hundreds of years. And each one of these people built their wealth in one of the 50-year cycles. So it's something I talk about quite often. Every 50 years, we have a technological revolution, and that's where all the generational wealth is made. So oil, steam engines, steel, banking, automobiles, and computer and internet. And so we want to be lucky enough to be born in one of these areas, hopefully not too late so there's still money to be made in it. And then we need to concentrate on that and then put our wealth into it and allow it to build up, right? This is how real generational wealth is built. Well, it's how generational wealth is earned, how it's created. This doesn't pass it down to generations. We're going to come back to that point. Okay, so what are these 50-year cycles and how do we find them? How do we take advantage of this? That's law number 3. So we want to pick the right engine, the wealth engine. So how do we now create the wealth so we have enough to have for ourselves and pass down? We have to pick the right engine. So again, about every 50 years, we have one of these. So going back to right here, the first mechanized machines in the Industrial Revolution, and then right here, steam engines and railways. About 50 years later, right here, still electricity. Right here, about 50 years later, oil and automobiles, Henry Ford. Right here, telecom, this is computers, internet, Bezos, right? All right here. Okay, so we have the benefit of being born right here. Now, we have this benefit now from right now about 2020 to about 2030 is where the bulk of the money is going to be made here. We use something called S-curve, and we know that the bulk of the money is made right here in this curve, which is 2020 to 2030. So we have about 5 years left. On top of the reason why the urgency is there is because the bulk of the move will be made by 2030, but also the world's going to look a lot different on the other side. On the other side of this, when AI has taken over everything, we're not exactly sure what the economy and what the business economy and the environment is going to look like. It's going to look completely different. Now, I believe in massive prosperity, not destruction, but that doesn't mean that we're going to avoid short-term volatility. It doesn't mean that we'll avoid short-term displacement. And so we have about 5 years to make as much money as we can before everything changes and we don't know what looks on the other side of that. Now, what we want to do is we want to build our business as fast as we can to put money in there. All right. We want to use AI to be more productive so our business makes more money so we can put it in there. And then we want to buy Bitcoin, which is our monetary engine that we're holding and we're building in that wealth. So we're building a business, we're using AI, we're saving in Bitcoin, all right here. Now, real quick, if you want to know how we layer all 3 of these assets together, so we get $1 moving through my business, moving through Bitcoin, moving through AI all at the same time to get $1 doing 3 jobs or 5 jobs or 10 jobs, there's a link down below to something I call the Wealth Operating System. I'm going to do a live workshop January 7th. I'll put a link down here, put a QR code right here. You probably want to check it out. I'm doing it one time for 2026, but let's keep going. So now that takes us to law number 4, and this is to build the fortress. And what am I talking about by building the fortress? Well, some of you might have already learned this, and some of you might not believe what I'm about to say, but keeping money is actually way harder than making it. Now, if you're still trying to make it, you may not understand what that means, but let me just give you some stats. We know that 75% of lottery winners go bankrupt in less than 5 years. They got the money, they got lucky. Getting that winning ticket was very difficult, but they couldn't keep the money. It's no different than musicians or rappers or NFL football players or basketball players. They make that money, and it was very hard to get into that pro league, become that pro athlete, whatever, but they can't keep it. And so we need to make the money. We just talked about how we do that through our business, AI, and Bitcoin. But now we have to build a fortress to keep the money so we can pass it down. How do we build that? What are we going to protect it from? Well, we're going to protect it from taxes. We're going to protect it from lawsuits. We're going to protect it from divorces. We're going to protect it from bad planning. How do we do that? Well, we're going to build a fortress. I'm going to do a really bad job of drawing here, but this is basically, this is going to be a castle. Right? We're building a castle, and this is our fortress. And inside this, we're going to use trusts. So trusts are like entities, like corporations. I build trusts, and I can put my assets in there. That way they're protected from lawsuits. Also, those assets can stay in that trust as they go down through generations. I, of course, need a will, and the will is going to have the directives of how all that works together. I can put my businesses into like hold companies, and so they can get preferential tax treatment because taxes are one of the biggest losses of wealth that you can have, divorce and taxes. Then I can do all of that for this asset protection. So again, I want to make sure that my assets don't get taken in lawsuits, litigation, nobody slips and falls, sues me, a car accident, any number of things can happen. I need to have the proper tax strategy because again, most of your wealth is lost through taxes. If you live in a high state like New York or California, 50% of your wealth goes immediately right when you earn it, not even counting what happens after you make more money through your investments. If you sell a business, if you die, heaven forbid, when you die, I mean, a lot of money goes to taxes. So we need a tax strategy, and then we need a succession plan. So again, how do I make sure my heirs don't squander it all? How do I make sure that they don't become spoiled? How do I make sure that they don't put it into bad investments? And so I need a succession plan. I'm going to get more into how we do that in a minute. But this, the fortress, makes sure you stay rich, okay? So before building in the right niche gets us rich, this makes sure that we stay rich. All right, that takes us over to law number 5, which is installing the family OS. And this really addresses what I think is the heart, really the crux of this. Going back to what I talked about in the beginning, a lot of people think, why would I leave money for my kids? This will destroy them. This will ruin them. You know, I don't want them to become a trust fund kid. When money gets passed down, it can be, right? Again, it can amplify that. So what we want to do is we want to install a family operating system, or what I call a family constitution. And just like the United States has a constitution that's passed down a set of values, a set of protections, and a set of laws for a country, for a nation, we can also have a family constitution that lays that out for our heirs. So for example, you know, in this family constitution, I'll do a bad job of making a book right here, but I'm going to spell out all the things in here that are important to me. Like what? Like work ethic. So I don't want my kids to be spoiled. I worked my butt off to get everything that they have. I only want to give them money if they're also working their butt off and that money can help them in their hard work. So if they don't have the work ethic, which is one of the values in my constitution, then no money for them. What else? Well, I also value education. Okay, now not formal education. I don't want them to go to university with it unless they want to be a doctor or engineer. But otherwise, I value education, but they may need to go into a trade school or specialty school. And so if they want to learn more things, we can give them money from the family trust into those things. What else? I also value generosity. So I want to give a certain percentage of the wealth away. I would like my heirs, my kids, my grandkids, my great-grandkids to be involved in charity, to identify people that we can help and use some of the money for there. So that's spelled out in there. I want them to be leaders. So things they can use, courses they can take on becoming leaders, starting businesses to become leaders, maybe politics or giving money to politics to be leaders, whatever that is. But these would be a representation of values that we have, that I have. And if my kids, if my grandkids, if my great, 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 great grandkids want some of the money that's inside this family trust, they have to abide by the values that we have. The reason why is that if you don't define the culture, then you leave the kids up to be absorbed by the world's culture, right? This is where we create the identity. This is how I think that the world should work. This is how I think we can improve the world. And I want my money to go to improve the world. And so I want my kids or my grandkids to use the money to improve the world the way that I saw it. And again, if they don't abide by that, then that's fine, but no money for them. All right, now this takes us to law number 6, which is kill the assassins. And again, I don't mean like we're gonna go murder anybody, but we wanna kill the wealth assassins. We wanna kill all the things that are gonna be taking wealth out of this family legacy, this generational path. Wealth doesn't die from markets, it dies from poor planning. So it's not about the dips in the market. The Rockefellers have been able to pass their wealth down for hundreds of years through all types of booms and busts, through all different types of technology cycles. So it's not about the markets that kill the wealth. It's the planning that kills the wealth. So we have wealth assassins that we want to be aware of. Sorry for my writing. It's pretty messy on demand. But like what? Well, like sudden wealth. So sudden wealth could certainly kill your wealth. So if your kid, if you die and you pass down, millions or tens of millions or however much to your kids, suddenly they're not going to have to do with it. They have no plan. They have no training. You're going to be like throwing them into the deep end of the pool and they don't even know how to swim. And so all of a sudden, the sudden wealth, which is why 75% of lottery winners go bankrupt, they don't know what to do with it. Also, what else? Well, entitlement. If they grew up thinking that they're just entitled to everything, hey, I grew up from a rich family, I'm used to having everything provided for me, that could also kill the wealth. We can also have, let's say that they have no value. So again, all the things we talked about before, you didn't build the values, didn't establish those values in your kids, you didn't pass those values down, they can also kill the wealth. What else? Well, bad advisors. So this happens to a lot of, athletes, musicians, etc. They hire bad advisors. The bad advisors steal from them, put them into bad investments. That's another area. Also, if there's say no structure. So if I just pass down the kids the money and it goes into their bank account, they don't know what to do with it. It's going to be taxed like crazy, and then they're probably going to spend it, as opposed to using a proper structure where it's like in a trust, for example, like an irrevocable trust. And then those assets are stuck inside there, and they can manage that, but they can't just liquidate it and go spend it. What else? No planning, right? Or divorce. So maybe you pass it down to your kids, and then your kids get divorced, they lose half. But again, if I pass it down in the proper structure, like a trust, even if they get divorced, they can't lose the assets. All right, so these are like all the types of things that we want to plan for. We want to plan ahead for these things. And so these are written into the Constitution where we build up the proper structures, but it really all comes back down to training, education, and passing values down to the kids. And that probably involves getting them involved earlier instead of later. You don't want them to have the sudden wealth and then not know what to do with it. So you have to have got them involved earlier, taught them how it's done and how to handle it. Okay, so that was law number 6. And let's just go ahead and stack this all up together. If we take a look at the full blueprint right here, up here at the top, what we have is we have our legacy, right? So our kids, our grandkids, they sit right here. Okay, this is what we're planning for right here. In the middle, this is our engine. Okay, so this is where we're creating the wealth. So this is our business. This is the AI that we're invested into and using, and this is the Bitcoin. This is the engine for creating the wealth, goes right here. And then down here at the bottom is our systems. So this is the systems that we use. This is the structure. So this is the family OS, the operating system that we've built. And all of this put together, the trust, the Constitution, is the bedrock of this entire wealth system. And this is how families break the cycle of having to start over every single time. It's not just the money. The money is not enough. That's the sudden wealth. That's just like a rapper or a lottery winner. It really comes down to the systems that we pass down, the education and the values that we pass down so we can pass it back. Now, again, don't die with zero. Pass it down. Don't make your kids and your heirs end up with zero. Now, the good thing is there's all types of structure and there's all types of help and there's all types of systems to do exactly just this. Like I said, building just this family operating system, it's part of what I call the wealth operating system, which is a series of systems that all work together to create wealth for yourself and multiple generations and heirs. As a matter of fact, we have an AI assistant that can build this whole family constitution OS for you. If you'd like to find out more about all these systems, how you can stack them all together to build so much wealth that you don't run out in your lifetime and you can pass it down for multiple heirs, check out the link down below for the Wealth OS Accelerator event I'm hosting live. I'll be live from this stage January 7th. I'll put a link on a QR code right here. But either way, whether you want to come hang out with me for a couple days while I'm live from the stage and I'll help you and I'll train you doing it live in real time, or you do it on your own. Either way, don't sleep on this. Definitely do not die with zero. Don't make your kids, your grandkids, or your heirs start over from zero. Give them a higher footing. And that's what I got. All right, to your success. I'm out.